back, everybody. Our next guest made headlines around the world when she was sentenced to 2 years in a Russian prison for protesting. It was called hooliganism. Masha Alyokhina is a member of the Russian feminist protest punk rock band Pussy Riot. She was released from prison in 2013 and is now out with a new book about what happened. She's in Seattle for the next few days, starring in a play called Burning Doors at On the Boards Theater. Here to share more of her incredible story, please welcome musician, actor, author, and mother, Masha Alyokhina. It's good to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's so hard to sum any of this up, but let's start with the play. What is the play about?
It's my first theater experience, made in collaboration with Belarus Free Theater, a brave political art collective from Belarus. And Belarus is quite different from Russia because they have a dictator for 25 years. They have death penalty and they kind of destroyed all the opposition they have. So we made this play about resistance of artists who are working in countries like Russia and Belarus and Ukraine as well. And also Burning Doors is a part of the campaign for freedom for Oleg Sentsov, who is Ukrainian film director, who got 20 years of prison because of his activism. And we all have a hope to release Oleg, and we're campaigning for his freedom for a year already.
I can't even tell you how much I admire your activism and the connection to creativity and the use of art and artists who've risked so much. How old were you when you were sent to prison?
23, I think.
I mean, it's almost inconceivable. Can you describe what it is that Pussy Riot was trying to tell us about Vladimir Putin, about Russia, about the problems of a lack of freedom?
Well, Vladimir Putin is a great Chekist, actually, but he occupied presidential chair for almost 17 years in Russia. And we made our performance in the Cathedral of Christ the Savior to show the collaboration between Patriarch Kirill, who is the head of Russian Orthodox Church, and Vladimir Putin. Because Patriarch agitated for Vladimir Putin and said that every Christian should vote for Putin. And true Christians shouldn't go to the demonstrations. So we were quite upset about that because we are Christians as well and we want to protest. Why not? And we went to this cathedral which symbolized this collaboration with a song Mother Mary Drive Putin Away. And after 2 days, they opened a criminal case on hooliganism motivated by religious hatred on us.
Did you have any idea that you might end up paying the price that you paid?
No, but, well, if you are doing activism in Russia, you can expect everything. It's not a reason not to do it.
When you hear news today about American politics, Russians' possible influence on it, Putin's possible influence, from your perspective, what should we as Americans understand about that?
Well, as I know about US elections, almost half of the population of United States didn't vote, unfortunately. And this March, I've been in Seattle and I've took part in Women's March. Some activists invited me to speak there. And I was so happy to see people go into the streets because somehow Trump was a reason to wake up. And I think, well, it's already happened. Trump was elected, and it's important. Do not stop. I mean, it's very important to show that another United States also exists, and you should fight for your voices. It's not about Russian influence, because yes, Russian security service have sometimes an influence, but the main reason is, I think, for US citizens to understand that they have a voice and they should fight for the issues in which they are standing.
And use our vote. It's probably surprising to you that so many people don't vote.
Yeah, because it's surprising for me because in Russia we don't have any elections. I mean, it's profanation, it's nothing. And you have elections, you have democracy, and you should not forget about that.
How's your son doing? How are you doing?
Well, my son now is 10 years old, and I think he understood a lot during especially last 5 years, and
There he is.
Yeah,
He's beautiful.
he's the best person I know.
Oh, my goodness.
And well, he sometimes he's with me. He will go to Paris, I hope, for the presentation of my book, because he made the drawings for that. All the drawings inside the book is his. So
That's incredible. The book, which is called Riot Days, is amazing because I think most of us in the United States take for granted, you know, so many of the rights that you all risked your lives for, are still risking your lives for. Can you describe what you would like us to understand from your book?
it's just one example of a possibility of choice which every person has. I believe that every person has a story and possibility of choice. And I wrote this book, it's my first book, and I was writing it for a long time. And it's for people, it's for people who do not know anything about our story, my story, Russia, Putin, etc. But it's just one example of how it is possible. Because there were a lot of situations during these 2 years, from first action to the last day of prison, where when I had an opportunity to calm down, as they said. For example, on the second day, when we've been arrested, one of the guys from the investigators team came to me and said, okay, if you want to see your son, just write a paper that you are guilty. Otherwise, you will go to prison for 2 or 3 years. There was no investigation that time, no court investigation that time, but he said that. And I said no. And that was not the only no I said. And I believe that each of us has situations when there is a possibility to say no. So it's for people.
We can make a choice. That's what makes us human. I really admire what you have done with your life. I'm glad you're in Seattle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give your boy a big hug for me. I remember that age. You can catch Masha in the play Burning Doors at On the Boards in Seattle's Lower Queen Anne. It runs tonight through Sunday. Don't miss it. You can also meet Masha this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Elliott Bay Book Company, where she's signing copies of her book, Riot Days. We'll link you to all of this information on New Day's homepage. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Be safe wherever you go. Up next, a new book helping us to understand what it's like to have autism. We'll be back after a break. Thank you.